Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to our second match of the day. It's Complexity taking on Rise Nation here in Group A of North America. I think we actually are in the process of getting players into the lobby. We want to make sure we're forcing the right server. But we can talk a little bit about the match, preview the rest of the group. I'll welcome in Jamerson now, who's joining me remotely. How you doing, Jamerson?
I'm doing well, and I'm really excited for this next matchup. It's going to be Complexity facing off against Rise Nation. Complexity, they've been trying out new rosters and trying to figure out what they want to move forward with. They've been working that out for like the last 2-3 months now. Rise Nation, it's been a stable roster for like the last 4 months. Haven't really switched anything around. But they have been a little bit absent from the competitive scene. So we'll see, if they can perform well today, seeing as how they have taken a short break.
So, looking at the new Complexity roster, obviously, Hardblue, a fan favorite player, no longer with the team, officially announced to be on NRG now, who everyone's like, when are we going to get to see the new NRG? It's a pretty hype roster. But how does that affect Complexity? Those are some pretty big shoes to fill. At least for me, when I've watched Complexity, I often feel like, he was the big playmaker for the team, and now, you take a tool like that away, like you take Sinatra away from Selfless, it's hard to fill those shoes. So, do you think they found the answer yet? Are you still expecting growing pains out of this team?
Definitely growing pains coming out from Complexity because for the longest time, that was a roster that kind of lived and died by Hardblue. If he was having a great day, then the team was having a great day. If he wasn't, then you could relatively see them lose their matches, but he was kind of like a rogue force on Complexity. If you ever talk to the players and such, Hardblue just did whatever Hardblue wanted, especially if he was picking up that Roadhog, but it would pay off for them sometimes, and oftentimes it would also not pay out in the end. But right now we are moving on to Numbani for our first map in this best of 3 series between Rise Nation and Complexity. It's going to be Rise starting off on the defensive side, and possibly a Torbjorn coming out. And this is one of those maps where Torbjorn does get picked quite often, so I wouldn't be too surprised by it.
All right, excited to see if it works out. Faz currently handling it. We did eventually get the server situation sorted out, so let's make sure we have game sound here. All right, we're good to go. So a lot of swapping, but let's see. Is Faz gonna leave the spawn? Indeed he is, so Rise Nation are in fact going to be running the Torbjorn. Now, where do you want to see him set up? Is there anything in particular we should know about with Torb on this map?
It depends. You don't want to be a static Torbjorn, right? You want to make sure that your turrets are going all over the place, that they can't be focused down every time the team turns a corner. So you want to try and be a bit more dynamic with the positioning of that turret. Some teams like to initially start it off on the back stairs, on the outer ledge of point A. Others will actually just go ahead and put it on the high ground as you push in through main. But I'm gonna fully expect it to actually come out on the stairs in the back.
So interestingly, with the Torb, they're running a Winston, a Hog here. No, we're not seeing any sign of an Orisa or a Reinhardt. So they're not really trying to build like the whole lineup around this turret. And Faz, in fact, did drop the first one down pretty far forward, just trying to get that early ultimate charge. And hopefully Molten Core, as he will immediately begin rebuilding on the high ground.
Yeah, it looks like they're actually going to go ahead and put that Torb turret on the high ground closer by main there, as we do have dive composition coming out along with that pharmacy for the side of Complexity here. It's going to be EQO that actually gets that turret down immediately. The dive comes on out, but Meza has to back off as X-Ray. He does get that kill onto Shake. Now it's a 2-for-2 trade coming out in favor of, I would say, of Complexity at this point. But Spirit getting that D-Mech onto Nicholas immediately followed up by Desert, taking him out. Eco's going to have to back off here. He doesn't have that mercy to keep him alive. And so now Complexity just going to go ahead and back off and regroup with the rest of the team.
Yeah, it looked like Eco just being entirely uncontested was going to shut down the Torb, have free reign over the site, but there's a lot of, beef to punch through here, having to deal with the Winston bubble, a relatively tanky support in the Lucio, but Eco gonna move in, finds a couple kills here, trying to pick off blocks, does drop the biotic grenade defensively, but just moving onto the backlights, cleaning up now the baby Diva down, and back onto the point. Still Expressy to worry about, but just laying into with the rockets. Nobody really contesting this. Pharah just gonna let it loose with the rocket barrage. Will cave in the site. It's up to the Genji. It's up to Spirit. to save the day.
Yeah, so it is going to be a 2v3 fight on the point, but Shake is there to top off his team. Meza finds that kill onto Faz. Now it looks like Complexity in good shape to take point A. Midnight trying to stall out himself, but it looks like he might just get demeched for his try at that hold, and he's just going to go ahead and commit seppuku there. Just reset with his team, and now we already see Complexity actually pushing out, trying to get any stragglers here, but Rise Nation have done a good job of actually regaining the composure, and they're going to regroup with the team, so now they're going to push forward as they did get that kill onto Torque, but still the respawn's in favor of the offense.
Faz died at 99% right as he got the Molten Core. Just instantly switches off, as you mentioned. So it didn't work out in the end. The great Torbjorn experiment is over. Eco going to move in now on the Pharah. Has to back away, though, as he's dropped quite low. Desro still hanging on for the time being to a Primal Rage if he needs it. And Nicholas just goes straight up on the card, bodying his way in, really. Working on that Winston pretty nicely. All around him, though. Spirit's finding pickoff, staying alive. The D-Mech, but gets blocked, tries to get inside the door. Will barely manage to do it in time and survives. Lives to fight another day. Still stalling nicely here around the card.
Yeah, it looks like Midnight just might get D-Mech, but we do have the Tactical Visor coming out from Retzi there. He did switch off to that Soldier 76, not finding anything quite yet. He is able to finally secure that kill onto Eco before he moves on to Nicholas, and right now the kills are getting traded, but it is in favor of Rise Nation as Retzi finds that last kill onto Torque. They're going to have to regroup here, go for another push, but luckily their spawner is really close, and we do see Rise Nation backing off just a little bit, waiting for their own respawns to come in. They have to wait for Midnight switching off to Zarya to regroup with the team.
Yeah, no more Pharah Mercy. It's going to be a Genji for Eco as he starts to chip away here a bit from the high ground. Constant pressure, really, with the Genji Spirit unloading the sword, trying to bring down Shake. He will manage to do so, dashing his way through, but he's very low, only 20 health. Will end up falling to Nicholas.
Yeah, it's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Rise Nation as they continue to push forward with this defense. Right now, they're fighting on the payload as the Primal Rage does come out from Meza right now. He hasn't found anything of it quite yet, but he is displacing a lot of the members there as the fight is continuing. It is going to be the respawns coming in on the side of Complexity, though. They're going to be able to reinforce, but Retzi, as soon as I say that, finds the Helix kill onto Joe Meister, but this payload is starting to push forward. Now we do have the Nano Boost used onto Midnight, who is pushing forward along with the Tactical Visor popped by Retzi, but it's going to be largely eaten up by Nicholas before he finally gets D-Mech, and they're going to be able to finish up that kill. Shake going down to Spirit. Spirit doing a great job on this bar so far, going largely uncontested. There's no one really to try and counter him so far, and Joe Meister will get cleaned up by Midnight. So another great hold coming up from Rise.
Pretty decisive victory there as Rise Nation continue to hold serve. Unfortunately, for the side of Complexity, they were very close to the grab, but didn't quite get it in time. Now they could combo that with the Diva Bomb. Also closing in now on the Genji Blade. So some good stuff here to pair up. No real direct counter to that grab aside from a potential sound barrier, but Faz unfortunately is nowhere near it. So this could be a big fight. Needs to be one for Complexity with only 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, once again, though, Spirit going largely uncontested, getting free shots off. There's no one to really deal with him on the side of Complexity. Shake can try his best, but unfortunately, that's not who you want. Trying to focus down on Pharah, especially with the recent nerfs coming in right now. Complexity, they've got 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock to try and secure that first checkpoint, but they're having a difficult time as the Graviton Surge comes out. Spirit's going to follow it up with the Barrage, and Desro comes in. It's going to be the Winston. Picks up a double kill, and also D-Mexing Nicholas there at the time, and now Spirit continues to push forward, takes out Shake, and that's going to be another easy, clean team fight coming out from Rise Nation.
Here comes the spawn camp, potentially, as Rise Nation assume control of the high ground, and we just didn't see any ultimates really used in time there. They're going to try to go for the grab now. The Diva Bomb committed as well, but the Monkey Shield getting dropped into the backline. Goes Desro. He's going to punch that Diva down as the baby bites the dust and starts to roast away on Shake. Shake and Bake, the order of the day. Now turning back for the Genji. We'll punch him down too. Desro just doing work on this Winston and Spirit with the aerial assistance. Again, as you mentioned, completely uncontested, and finally Torque will go to the Soldier, but it really feels too little too late.
Here for the side of Complexity, though. With the Graviton Surge along with that Self-Destruct, they found both supports now. So now they're going to be able to push up this payload right here, as we do see Meza switching off. He is on that Reinhardt now, but once again, Desro is in the back line. We've got the Nano Boost onto Spirit, and Spirit has gone largely uncontested like we talked about. He's trying to focus on Joe Meister, but Joe Meister is going to be slippery, a bit too slippery, as Desro gets the kill onto Shake. It is a 1-for-1 trade, as Midnight did fall on that Zarya, but once again, Spirit going largely uncontested. He's getting these 3 shots off, and it's going to allow Desro, with that Primal Rage, to pick up 2 kills there. Meza trying his best to swing at the monkey, but it's not going to be enough. It's going to be Eco that actually comes in, gets the double kill, taking out 2 of the major threats, but it is in overtime right now. 4 people on the payload, as Eco finds 1 more kill onto Locke, and it looks like Complexity have finally done it. They should be able to get this first checkpoint.
They had to work for it, though. My goodness, what a staunch defense by Rise Nation after giving up the first point pretty damn quickly. Still Spirits on fire, and they are closing in here on the grab. Midnight 70%, so they could potentially have that big combo before this final push comes through. Meanwhile, on the side of Complexity, a bevy of ultimates about to be unveiled. 5 are very close. So this could be a very tough defense. There's the shield.
Coming out. Spirit did get that barrier to keep him alive, but unfortunately not long enough. Sound barrier does come out from both sides, and it's going to be the Earth Shatter that doesn't quite connect. Here comes the Graviton Surge. Torque is caught in along with Shake. Not quite Joe Meister, but is that going to be enough? No, Nicholas coming in with the 5-man pulse bomb set up by a beautiful Graviton Surge by Eco there. 47 seconds left on the clock. We are going to have one more opportunity for Rise Nation to come in and try and contest this.
Gotta go fast, though. That massive pulse bomb combination, leaving them with very little time, quite staggered. The Pharaoh Spirit didn't even bother going in. It's up to Expressy now. Lets the aimbot out. Almost immediately gets roasted by the Zarya. Will end up falling, and they have to back off.
Was used by Expressy, but it wasn't enough, as he only gets that 1 kill. And Eco, this new pickup coming out from Complexity, really paying for himself already, really pulling his weight, as Desro has switched on back to Winston. He was switched to Reinhardt before and try and deal with that Earth Shatter, but right now Midnight keeping this alive with double kill on that Tracer, as Retzi gets cleaned up by Eco. Eco once again coming up huge, but he does finally fall to Midnight there. Now it's going to be in overtime, as Torque is going to try his best to stay on the point. Pulse Bomb comes out, but isn't going to quite connect yet, but it's going to be a 2v4 on the point, as the respawns are coming in for Rise Nation right now. Desro gets that kill onto Torque, and now the Transcendence is caught by Shake. Shake keeping his members alive. Joe Meister is purple, but no one is focusing him down right now. He finally does fall. The jump on Desro. Pulse Bomb comes out, not quite connected again. These Tracers having a little bit difficult time since that 5-man Pulse Bomb to actually try and land it, but Desro will fall. Shake with a great job with the Discord Orb so far. Shake will find that kill onto Luck, and then finally complete.
Wow, that was a tough hold, but they do it in the end. Don't quite cap the 3rd point. Got a little staggered, and Pharaoh just having a field day towards the end, but a lot of hero swaps on that map, and Complexity got to be a little frustrated that they weren't able to close it out.
They definitely were hindered very heavily there on the streets phase. Rise Nation did a great job of putting up the defense there. Once it got past that first checkpoint, though, they made great headway. Fortunately, you know, that Pulse Bomb Graviton combo coming up from Eco along with Nicholas, it was huge, but it wasn't quite enough. They were just a few meters away from actually completing out this map. Now there's a definite win condition on the side of Rise Nation here, as Complexity are setting up their defense, and they're going to go for a pretty standard defense. They're going for that triple dive along with Torque on the Soldier 76 to round out that DPS on their end. I really do like this more mobile defensive setup here on Numbani, just because the offense have so many different avenues of attack here that you do need to be able to respond to it very quickly.
Yeah, and they are certainly extremely mobile here. Everybody, aside from the Ana, has a way to get around more quickly. A lot of verticality from this team, and not the best solutions, I would say, to a Mercy Pharaoh. Decent, though. They have the Ana, they have the Soldier, so I think they'll be a little more prepared than that Torbjorn lineup that we saw coming out at the start of the defense for Rise Nation. So we'll have to see if this Pharaoh Mercy is going to pay off, but it was going to be a little bit tougher.
Yeah, we didn't get to see much out of Shake's Mercy on their offensive push. There was possibly one resurrection that came out before he switched on over to Ana there at the end. So we'll see, you know, if this Pharmacy combo can work out on the side of Rise Nation, but immediately off the bat, you know, they do have that counter. They have Torque on the 76 to try and deal with it. He is getting peppered by shots, dropped down really low, does have to fall back. And now they are just pushing in through main. It is Rise Nation, and the dive is starting to come out, but Meza is there to try and cancel it out immediately, and they are going to be able to focus down Desro. So now already in the favor of the defense as they are pushing forward. Rise Nation is Spirit gets the kill onto Eco, so that's a 1-for-1 trade right now, and he's starting to get the resets as Midnight finds a nice shot onto Joe Meister. Now they're starting to clean up. Nicholas finally answers back, taking out Lock, but is it going to be enough? Fast finding the kill onto Shake.
Oh
now
no!
All downhill.
Finally does manage to bring the Pharah down, but the damage certainly done at this point is a clean tap well underway. Meza, I don't even think gonna... Oh, it looks like he's not even near being able to contest. They've already backed off. They are pretty much at this point just accepting the streets phase. Well, need a really strong defense here, though.
On the clock for Rise Nation as they push forward. It looks like Complexity are holding for this really aggressive push, or really aggressive defense, as they are just right out the spawn right now. Pulse Bomb does come out, doesn't quite connect yet. They're going to need a Graviton, it looks like, if they really want to land those. But Midnight right now pushing forward with that Pharmacy. There we go. That's a connected Pulse Bomb taking out Desro, but immediately gets traded on back. Xrexy getting the better of that Tracer v Tracer battle as Spirit comes in. Eco once again coming up huge for the team so far. He's got a double kill, but Spirit finding the kill onto Joe Meister. That might signal the retreat on the side of Complexity. No, they're actually going to stay on the point, just go for the full team wipe and regroup in that fashion.
Xrexy on fire and really showing it as we just walk onto his perspective here. Nobody able to deal with him, and has a lot of assistance from the team. The Winston of Desro creating a ton of space, and Xrexy taking full advantage of it. So with that, the cart's going to move. There might be one more shot at a defense here to slow things down, but Complexity have to be worried with how quickly this offense is moving. Pulse Bomb unloaded, not going to quite find the kill, but still moving forward with the power of the sound barrier as well as the Genji.
Coming out along with that Dragon Blade, but Torque will have that nano boost. He's got the tactical visor. He's going to start pushing forward. Is able to clean up Spirit right now. The point being pushed by two members on the side of Rise as they do push forward. Rise Xrexy gets the kill onto Nicholas, but right now it's still looking back and forth until Desro and Midnight come in, picking up two great kills onto Torque and to Shake, and now the point is being contested. It's all just Eco trying to keep this alive, but it looks like he's just being staggered for a little bit, and unfortunately he does finally go down, and Rise Nation with 5 minutes and 20 seconds once again on the clock to get this final checkpoint. Actually, not even the final checkpoint, it's just a few meters off of it there. And so
they have a res for this. No real setup for this Rocket Barrage, nor even a Zarya to shield him, so I'm not sure we'll get a whole lot out of that, but you never know, and the Resurrection can always prove the difference maker. Winston leaping in, now looking for the stall with the Primal Rage. They need to buy a lot of time.
Yeah, we do have the Pulse Bomb. Did land on to that Diva, but she will be able to go ahead and self-destruct, forcing them all back right now. As Faz out by himself might be the first victim of this team fight. It's actually going to be Desro that goes down first on the side of Rise Nation, but finally Shake is able to clean up Faz there. And you know, with the respawn so close, they can just bide their time and wait for it on the side of Rise Nation. They have plenty of time to work with 4 minutes and 40 seconds to just build up their ultimates. They've got the Barrage, they've got the Resurrection. They could just wait out these team fights.
All right, we are going to see a swap though as the Rhine comes out. Xrexy now going to be manning the Hog. So going for a bit more of a tanky lineup, but Nicholas takes full advantage of that, fences his way, and finds the double kill with the Pulse Bomb.
By Lock, he gets that Resurrect onto those two members on the side of Complexity. They're going to push forward with the Sound Barrier along with the Dragon Blade. Nothing coming of it quite yet on the side of Rises. We do have Torque pushing forward with that Nano Visor. He finds 2 quick kills, so that res is not quite paying off on the side of Rise Nation. They'll be able to clean up this team fight. Everyone getting trickled and killed there at the end. Faz is going to be the final member to go down on the side of Rise Nation. Once again, they still have plenty of time. They've got 4 minutes left on the board just to push this about 30 more meters.
A lot of swaps, though. Again, we're going to see the swap off of the Hog now, and no longer running the Mercy, so they want a slightly more reliable support duo going to the Zen and the Lucio, but seems a little indecisive from Rise Nation. Not sure exactly what the right combination is to crack this Complexity defense. We'll have to see if this particular combination turns out to be it.
Alright, Pulse Bomb does come out, doesn't connect this time, but a 2-man Earth Shatter coming out from Desro. They're going to be able to clean up that kill onto Torque, who's a major thorn in the side of Spirit there, but Eco does trade on back. He does get demeched by Faz, though, and now they're starting to push forward. Spirit going uncontested now. No Soldier 76 on the board quite yet, as Joe Meister trying to keep this alive, but he will get cleaned up. Now, this might be the final fight for Complexity.
And no ultimates really quite yet. They are close to an Ana Boost. They're fairly close to the Diva Bomb. The Spirit tries to keep them penned in. Not quite able to do so on the side. Xrexy with the flank. Can they shove it all the way in?
Nano boost onto Torque, and that's going to sign a retreat. Coming up from Rise Nation, they're just going to wait it out. That's great discipline coming out from them. Desro's shield is pretty low, so they're just going to go ahead and wait for that to build up some more health as they push forward. Now Nicholas is still on the back line. He focuses down Desro, but Midnight will go ahead and trade back as the self-destruct comes out and Locke has nowhere to go. He gets dropped by Eco as Tactical Visor is used by Midnight. Nothing gonna come of it, and I think that might have been a misplay coming out on the side of Rise Nation.
Eco, as you mentioned, the new addition here, making big play after big play, completely eating the Tactical Visor, diving and staggering Spirit on the Pharaoh, and turning the tide to this fight. Complexity, 2 minutes to go now. Still will be 1, possibly 2 more pushes, depending on how quickly Rise Nation move. And as far as ultimates go, they now switch onto the McCree, so that Deadeye not something like they'd have for some time. But another change-up. They just don't seem to know what they want to run here to finish off the point.
Torque has his Nano Visor at the ready along with Shake, so this might be what they need to shut down this next push. As it comes out, Sound Barrier is used. Barrage comes in by Spirit and immediately goes down to Torque. We got the Nano Visor coming out, but the Transcendence will be popped on the side of Rise Nation. It's not going to be enough to keep Desro alive, though, as Torque is able to secure that kill. Now X-Rexy on the point, has to be careful, does back off with that McCree, but no, 2-man Earth Shatter comes out for Meza. Nicholas will clean up those kills, and now great hold coming out from Complexity.
All right, minute and a half to go. It's just about there, very close to being pushed in for the win, but haven't quite managed to do it, and they really don't. They're out of swaps at this point. You know, I guess they could swap once more, but then they're definitely not going to have any ultimates coming to the next fight, so they're pretty much locked into this particular lineup down the stretch as we enter the last push, at least the last clean push they'll have.
Yeah, they do have that Earth Shatter on Desro. We haven't seen the cleanest of Earth Shatters all day quite yet, but this is the opportunity that they're looking for. Desro does get hooked in, have to be careful. Oh, Earth Shatter only lands onto Eco there. They will be able to get the DMAC out from him as Torque does find the kill onto Desro. Not quite yet a 1-for-1 trade until Spirit gets that hook onto Nicholas, and now they're pushing forward. They're just meters away as the Graviton Surge comes out. Spirit is perfect. You have to be careful. Mez dropping low. He will fall to Midnight now. Man advantage in favor of Rise Nation. Another hook coming out from Spirit, but unfortunately they aren't able to get the DMAC out. They will eventually as the high noon does come out. Deadeye lands onto Shake, and now they're starting to push forward. These deaths are starting to get slowly staggered as Midnight finds a kill onto Torque. Now X-Rexy with that Cowboy doing a great job so far. Spirit on this hog though has been the anchor for the team, is able to clean up the kill onto Meza, and that's going to be Rise Nation taking map number 1 here on New Bonnie.
Wow, great finish there. X-Rexy popping off in a big way on the McCree after a rough showing on that first push, but after a bevy of swaps, they managed to secure the map. Wasn't easy, but showing some good resilience here. Complexity, I have to say after this first map, Jamerson, I'm already very impressed with Eco, even though they didn't take it, for a new addition to the team, doing a lot of work.
Yeah, it's been a great foundation for the team. Playing these tank heroes, every single one he's been able to be very impactful on. I think this Eco play was actually one of the better I've seen in quite some time now. But yeah, despite that, Rise Nation were able to finally complete out the map. They had 5 minutes and 40 seconds, I believe, to work with to push into that final checkpoint or that final golden square there, and they did it. But Complexity definitely put up a fight.
So next map coming up, Complexity will have the choice. What do you think we're looking at out of them? Anything in particular you'd like to see them go to?
So Numbani's already out of the pool. I kind of want them to go to Nepal here, but I mean, once again, it's really hard to tell because they are trying out these newer players. I haven't been able to check out any of their games, any of their scrims, but I think Nepal is probably one of those maps that you want to go to when you do have some roster swaps coming in. It's something that a lot more people are familiar with, you know, while on maps like Numbani, there are like set plays where you can push at certain timings and such. But hey, we'll see.
A little more reliant on the coordination and a bit less on just kind of individual skill and playmaking on those assault or payload maps. So, let's see what they.
We're going to Hanamura.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, Hanamura and Volskaya, the 2 assault maps that are in this pool, and so it is going to be Complexity taking in. They want to actually start off on the defensive side here, so they might have just a pocket strat possibly like a Torbjorn and Symmetra lineup to come out from them. We've seen that sometimes. We'll see. We're just going to go ahead and give them the ready up, and we'll get this second match underway. Remember, this is a best of 3 here in the group stages of NA Group A here. This is the second match of day number 1.
All right, 1-0. Currently the score is Riders Nation had a nice start on our opening map, especially with that much time left on the clock. You would certainly hope they could finish off the map, and indeed they did. So, Assault Hanamura, not a map we see as much of nowadays, but with some of the new map picking formats, it has been a bit more prominent than it was, when teams were getting bans a couple of weeks ago. We'll have a few players temporarily leave the lobby just to make sure we get onto the right server, then they'll all rejoin. So let's get into it.
All right, it looks like we do have the proper server. We're going to be on the East Coast here. Both teams more than okay with that at this point, although Complexity playing from the West there, it just kind of evens out the ping, honestly. And so no team actually walking away with a real heavy ping advantage. It's definitely fine. So once again, Complexity will be starting off on the defensive side. They are currently down 0-1 in this best of 3 series. And it looks like, yeah, Joe Meister hovering over that Torbjorn. It might come to fruition.
Do it, Joe Meister. Go to the dark side. Yeah, I mean, I always cheer for the Torb picks. I love anything that's a bit off the beaten path. We don't see too much junk nowadays, but well, really any day. But I'd also be cheering if a Junkrat was in store. So yeah, Joe Meister currently hovering over it. We'll find out momentarily if he's going to play it, but we've seen enough of this on defense that it's not really like too shocking if someone goes to it.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. What I really do want to see is what Eco is going to pick here. He hasn't quite locked in anything yet. I think he might still be in the midst of joining the server. But yeah, Joe Meister has gone ahead and left the spawn. He does have that Torbjorn. But once again, I'm still waiting on Eco here. Eco, come on, man. You got 40 seconds left. You got to get to point A.
Yeah, meanwhile, on the side of Rise Nation, we'll find out who's leaving the spawn. But Xretzy currently on the attack Widow, definitely I think the side where we see the Widowmaker have more success. Just because if you can get that pick and it really opens up the site, your team will generally have the spawn advantage for the first point. So wouldn't be surprised at all if he stays on it.
Ready for combat maneuvers.
Yeah, not surprised at all. I mean, with these defensive Genjis, you just have to find your opening. And with the dive composition that Rise Nation might actually pull out here on the offense, it does, lend itself vulnerable to a counter diver to get onto the back line and try and take out the supports and just shut down the offense that way. Now we are underway. Retzi picking up the Widowmaker. Let's see if we can find any picks off of it.
Meza already has 25% just from that first fire strike, so a big start towards his ultimate. Yeah, eyes on Xretzy, who already brought pretty low, has to back away. Still looking for that first pick.
Yeah, Retzi getting kept down just a little bit, as we do have Midnight actually on the point right now, trying to draw the attention away from the front lines there. And we do have Torque actually getting back there, but now the dive is coming out. Midnight jumping onto Torque. They're going to go ahead and trade 2 for 1 as Eco will only get that kill onto Spirit right now. So it's man advantage in favor of Rise Nation as Desert finds another kill onto Shake now. It's Nicholas just trying to keep this point alive by himself, but he's going to get D-Mech, and Midnight should be able to clean this up easily. We do have the AD spam, but that's not going to be enough as he does finally go down. Retzi getting the kill onto the turret, and I think that's going to be it for the Torbjorn. Joe Meister probably going to swap off.
I mean, there were heroes still trapped in Archway, and Midnight was just fighting like 3 enemies at the same time, capping the point with just a little bit of assistance. So Tracer off to a hot start. Already has the pulse bomb to prove it. They will have a Molten Core, so Joe Meister's going to stick for now on the turret, but his turret getting slaughtered here between the Widowmaker, the Pharah. It is a tough Torb game to keep that turret alive, so they're going to park the Rhine Shield directly on top of it. But here comes the pulse bomb from the side.
Out, doesn't quite connect, but the dive trio is on top of this high ground here. Locke will be able to get rid of that Torbjorn turret. So it looks like Joe Meister's going to have a difficult time trying to get that level 3 turret up, and he's just going to go ahead and pop that Molten Core, but it's not going to be enough as Retzi has already found 2 kills here. Faz will clean up that turret on the high ground. Spirit finds the kill onto Nicholas, and now man advantage in favor of Rise Nation right now. They've got 1 tick, about to get 2. We do have the Rocket Barrage. Spirit finds 2 kills off of that right now. Torque is the only one left alive to try to keep this alive, but it's coming down to the wire. Nicholas has to jump onto the point, but he's not going to be able to get it as Desro gets the nice body block, keeping out those 2 members of Complexity. And with 6 minutes and 4 seconds on the clock, Rise Nation concede out Hanamura.
That was a dominant showing. We've seen some really fast time set on the Assault map so far today, and it continues here on offense. Teams just struggling to find a defensive combo that's going to work for them. What is the magic formula? Nobody seems to know.
One of the major issues, Joe Meister did stick on to the Torbjorn for the point B defense, which isn't bad, especially because he had that Molten Core. But Rise Nation did a fantastic job of focusing that turret out, making sure it never got to level 2, and he wasn't able to get a level 3 turret up. And without it, Torbjorn becomes more of a liability than anything else. So great job coming out from Rise Nation to be cognizant of that Torbjorn pick.
It's really such an easy trap to fall into when you're playing, someone like a Torb or even a Symmetra where you're just about to get your ultimate. Maybe you lose a fight in the first point. You're like, do I really want to swap now? But it felt like they just had a great lineup to deal with them on top of the strategy you mentioned with a Widowmaker, a Pharah, constantly able to snipe the turret. They had to commit basically D.Va and Reinhardt solely to protecting the turret. And then the dive comp, the rest of the lineup can just flank around, punish the supports who don't have that tank backup. So it was, unfortunately, it seems like not the right situation to stick on the Torb. For now, though, we're going to see another Torb. Faz trying to show that he can do a better job. And he'll plant his down in a fairly defensive position.
Yep. He is going to go ahead and set it up on the low ground there. It is a decent position. It's really hard to tell, honestly. Torbjorn's not always having like the greatest of successes. But right now, even taking a look at the position coming up from Midnight, he wants to get the easy early damage in with that Winston, holding onto that high ground, maybe even try to counter a Widow if that does come out on the side of Complexity. But right now, it looks like they're just going full standard. We got triple tank coming out, Meza, of course, on that Reinhardt, Nicholas picking up the D.Va, and Eco on this Zarya. It's going to be a Torque onto him to try and get the DPS across, but taking a look at the position for Midnight, he's just going to get free damage off of this. They do push in. They have made it into the right side stairs here.
Yeah, the turret's still waiting to potentially cover this push, but with the position that Complexity have, Rise Nation aren't going to get all that much help from the low ground, so the turret's going to be rebuilt. Faz rotating around, back to the point, so a very defensive posture. They lose the fight here. They are losing the point for sure.
The turret is set up, and they have to push right into it. We do have the Fire Strike coming out, not going to quite connect, as once again, Midnight doing such a great job on this Winston in the back line, as Nicholas does get the kill onto Spirit, though, and Torque follows up, taking out Midnight, who was left out all by himself. And now they are going to go ahead and try to push forward is Complexity, but Joe Meister, you don't want to be in the front there. You are the support. Back up just a little bit, son. And now they are pushing forward with this tank line. We've got the boostio. Joe Meister put some work into it. Come on, you got this. Nicholas is able to get that kill onto Desert, knocking him off the map there. And as we do have the multi-core coming out right now, boostio not quite paying off, but Complexity is still winning this team fight as fast as multi-core does run out. He gets taken out by Torque. Torque, that's a double kill for him. We do have the Dragon Blade being committed, coming out on the side of Complexity too for this team fight win, as Eco is able to get the double kill. They will be able to secure point A.
All a part of the plan. Boost the Lucio, easy sound barrier, counters the Genji Blade, lets them take the point. Very tactical, but yeah, on a serious note, great stuff by Complexity there. Probably not what they had in mind with the Ana boost, but they still make the most of it. And now they have a grab. They're close to another Earth Shatter. Meza had a very funny, like, halty moment, got thrown up in the air. It took forever to let that first Earth Shatter down.
There isn't much on the side of Rise Nation to work with. They do have that Nano Visor. Hopefully, Nicholas just doesn't sit on top of him. And take a look at that turret positioning. Was a little bit cheeky, but Nicholas does spot it out and does clean it up. So
they have a grab.
Onto this Torbjorn might become a liability on the side of Rise Nation as the high ground is taken by Complexity. Now they're going to go ahead and push down the stairs and try and catch out Spirit, but Spirit will be able to deflect a lot of damage and finally gets out. Joe Meister does take out that turret as the tactical visor is popped by Torque as they continue to push forward. Now, unfortunately, it does get eaten up mostly by Midnight.
Still holding onto the Graviton Surge. Eco waiting for his opportunity here. Has the Rhinestone to combo with it, and he's going to drop it. Finds 2 with the Torb. Actually make it 3. I think it might have been 4 in the end. It got sucked in there. Finds multiple kills. Expressy has to drop down to the point. Instantly blown up. And now Reinhardt coming back. Desro with a big shatter, but is there any follow-up? He gets 1 with the charge. He instantly falls after that. Almost everybody on fire on the side of Complexity. A good trade on offense, but they haven't finished it just yet. Here comes Rise Nation back onto the point. Staying alive for now. Ryan's going to fall. That's a big bulwark out of the picture. Lucio on his way back. So it looks like this offense will be blunted. They will not cap nearly as quickly as what Rise Nation did on offense.
Yeah, That 3-man Earthshatter coming out from Desro on the point, definitely saving it on the side of Rise Nation. But Complexity were able to get 2 ticks on the board before that team fight is finally over. But now 4 minutes and 40 seconds, the time advantage definitely in favor of Rise Nation if Complexity are able to complete this out. Nicholas tries to jump onto Retzi there, who was playing by window, but unfortunately can't quite commit onto that kill. Now they're just going to go ahead and push in through main. They just need the 1 tick here as Desro does drop down. He's getting the swing off as we do have the nano boost landing onto Mez, and he gets put to sleep, but immediately is woken up. Tactical visor popped by Retzi. He finally falls to Torque, who is able to connect with that Helix rocket. Spirit trying to keep this alive for the side of Rise Nation, but Desro gets charged by Mez. A tactical visor up on the side of Complexity, but unfortunately he immediately goes down. Spirit getting the dash resets with that Genji so far. Nano boost is going to be committed to him also, and that's going to force Complexity away.
Oh no, Eco close to another grab, but they just haven't quite gotten the ball of momentum rolling that they need to take this point. Retzi finds those cleanup kills on the way out, taking a pretty aggressive position here at window. So they'll have a grab. They won't really have anything to combo with, maybe a Diva Bomb, but when you're up against a sound barrier from Faz potentially ready by then, as well as a Rhine Shield, not the most reliable combo to break open the site.
Complexity trying to go for that high ground push again, but Rise Nation doing a really good job of actually staying spread apart because Eco does have that Graviton Surge on the side of Rise Nation. They got the Dragon Blade along with their self-destruct, so great ways to stall here as they have pushed into the low ground, and Spirit just waiting for his opportunity to go in with that Dragon Blade as the entirety of Complexity is on this point right now. But there we go, Spirit is in the backline, self-destruct coming out on the side of Rise Nation. It's not going to quite connect, but the Graviton lands onto Midnight and Faz will go down, so that's a 2-for-2 trade as Retzi was able to get those kills with that 76, but Mez is swinging with that Reinhardt, starting to clean up on the side of Complexity. Now Retzi trying to keep this alive, doing his best to 80-80 spam there. Now self-destruct does come out from Nicholas. Is it going to quite connect? No, as he does, Retzi does fall to self-destruct, excuse me. Midnight is trying to trade back, but this is the trickle-in defense coming out from Rise Nation right now, and it is going to pay off for them as Nicholas does have to back off. He gets demeched, and he's going to get staggered by Rise.
You can see Midnight looking for additional staggering opportunities as Nicholas just going to jump off the edge as he was demeched, as mentioned. So we'll see Midnight maybe going to go for a quick swap here. Back onto the Diva. So good stalling tactics. They've been at this 2-point situation for 2 hashtag situation for quite a while, but unable to fully take the point. And now time, a real issue, even if they do manage to cap, going into a potential next round.
And yeah, we have to remember that Rise Nation are currently leading the series 1-0 in this best of 3. They just need to wait out 2 more minutes and they've got this first win here in the Overwatch PIT Championships. Now Nicholas does jump in, but he's getting focused down by 3 members of Rise Nation right now. He's going to immediately get mech there, and he's going to fall to Desro. Mezra along with Eagle on the point as the tactical visor is popped by Retzi. He's got that nano boost also. He hasn't found any kills quite yet, but Spirit will taking out Meza, and there we go. Finally cleaning up Shake. But there are still a lot of ultimates in tow for Complexity at this point. They've got their own nano visor to use for this next push.
Yeah, Desro finds 2 kills there. He's walking around directly behind the side of Complexity with about 50 HP, but nobody seemed to notice him. He ended up finding another Fire Strike, another couple Hammer Swings, ultimately doesn't even die. I didn't realize Reinhardt could be so sneaky with the amount of noise those big feet make, but apparently is so against Complexity. And now he waits with an Earthshatter in ambush, in a more aggressive position on high ground, charges in immediately, looking for the Shatter.
Comes out from Spirit. Earthshatter even committed onto that by Rise Nation, but it's going to be Spirit that gets the kill onto Joe Meister before he finally goes down. Retzi, though, going largely uncontested as the 76. He's got that position on the balcony there, getting free shots off, forces back Complexity just like that. They've got 1 minute left on the clock. And they are building up a lot of ultimates here, while Rise Nation kind of in a power trough. Nothing ready for this next push.
Yeah, the Eco close again to the Graviton. And you know, Jaberson, we keep on seeing them try to force it here in top right. This will be yet another attempt. They often even sweep around towards the defensive spawn. Hasn't worked out yet, but the grab is ready.
For that high ground push again, time after time. The Earthshatter landing on 2 members. They are going to be able to clean up Spirit immediately off the bat. We do have the nano visor getting committed. It's going to be Torque that actually gets killed onto Faz with that Helix Rocket, follows it up with another onto Midnight. So this is their opportunity. They will be able to complete it out, but with only 1 minute left on the clock, while Rise Nation are sitting on 6 minutes and 46 seconds.
They are going to need the defense of their lives if they want to continue to stay in this game. A 5.5 minute and then some advantage when that first point is so easy to take, they basically will have to hold the second point at this point to have a chance on defense. It feels like.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure if they're going to go with that Torbjorn again. But it looks like they do have, you know, the comfort of 6 minutes and 46 seconds to work with. So Faz might just go with this Torbjorn. On the side of complexity, though, it looks like they're going to go for kind of dive-heavy composition. Eco picking up the Genji along with Nicholas on that Tracer. But they're not going to follow it up with a Winston of some sort to try and put some beef into that dive. So we'll see if that actually pays off for them. I mean, they've only got 1 minute. You can't, you know, falter at any point, or it's just basically over for you.
Like maybe if the Tracer dies early, she can get back to the point. But if you lose your Reinhardt, you know, 30 seconds into the push, you're going to be super staggered. So we will see Spirit picking up something very different. He's actually running the Reaper. Not a hero we see much of at all nowadays, even against heavy tank composition.
Yeah, we don't see Reapers often, but we do see it used to try and, I wouldn't say tilt, but like catch teams off guard. We've seen Team Liquid swap off to Reaper pretty commonly when they go to CP and they're going into that for that second push. But yeah, I think they were expecting, you know, Meza to be on this Winston. They just want to be able to immediately focus him down once he jumps on in. So they haven't shown Spirit quite yet, and now that Winston has jumped in, Spirit is immediately trying to focus him down. He does have to Wraith form away as Meza does actually stay alive, but X-Red is trading away 1-for-1. Nicholas going down. It is going to go in favor of Rise Nation now as the second kill comes in, taking out Torque, and they're just going to go have to regroup on the side of complexity for one last push.
What a great prediction rocket there by X-Retzy. The Helix shutting down the push, and despite the Reaper not really paying off, that's okay. Spirit going to swap over to the Tracer. Should be back for the final fight here on this first point. If they don't even cap this point, it's looking very bleak heading into the 6.5 minute offense that Rise Nation have awaiting them. Torbjorn not even close to a Molten Core. This is going to be a very hard hold on the point.
And yeah, great job coming out from Meza there, drop down his shield, but Spirit getting that kill onto Joe Meister. This might spell a defeat of complexity as they do fall. They're not able to get the second point, and they're going, the first point, and they're going to need a defense of the lifetime to actually try and tie up this map here and take it to a map number 3. Remember, Rise Nation, they took the map on Numbani. They're currently leading 1-0. They just need to cap point A, and they walk away with a 2-0 victory here.
Mentally, this is not a good position to be in if you're complexity. When you know how hard it is to hold that first point for any amount of time, let alone for almost 7 minutes, and you're down 1-0 in the best of 3, if there's ever a situation where you're going to tilt or get frustrated, this is probably it. And it's also probably the time to bring out any pocket strats you might have. So, as I say that, looks like a fairly standard composition thus far, but 3 players still yet to select their heroes. So, I mean, you've brought your attention to Eco quite a few times. I'm curious to see if he brings out anything different. We've seen him on Genji, we've seen him on Zarya, Roadhog. He's not been afraid to mix it up.
And honestly, I think you should just be continually trying to push the boundaries of what your team can do. Continually experiment with new compositions, and you shouldn't be afraid at this point. There's still so much to actually learn about Overwatch and competitive Overwatch. The meta is always like on a knife's edge, I think, of just swaying one way or another, as now it is going to be Complexity's turn to try and defend, and they've got to defend for nearly 7 minutes here, as we do see Desro picking up the Winston. Midnight will be on that Tracer. Sretzi once again on that Widowmaker. Let's see if he can actually get that first pick.
For now, staring down the barrel of a D.Va Defense Matrix and a Ryan Shield, not the easiest place to go for one.
All right, Nicholas was able to land a hook onto Desra. Unfortunately, the follow-up damage was not there. Eco getting the first kill onto Spirit. Great defense so far. Faz is playing by window by himself on that Lucio. No one trying to focus him down quite yet there. But yeah, Complexity, they're holding on for now as X-Retzy actually gets connected by that fire strike.
Yeah, Meza saying, I'm the sniper now. I might be big, I might be clunky, but I can pick you off. And Retzy, again, the Widow not really working out too well. He's going to swap off of it for the second time, but I like the fact that he's not married to it. If it doesn't work, you know, no reason to stick on it. We'll change to something a lot more reliable.
All right, we do have Desro jumping on in Spirit. He has the Orb of Harmony on him, keeping alive as X-Retzy gets that first kill onto Nicholas, and Midnight finding the kill onto Meza, and now things are starting to snowball out of control for Complexity. This might be it. Rise Nation might just finish it out here in a 2-0 fashion as Desro is able to DMX Eco, and with no one there to contest, it's going to be Rise Nation taking the series 2-0 against Complexity. what a great first showing for Rise Nation here in the Overwatch PIT Championships.
Yeah, some signs of life from Eco as a new player for the team, but a pretty dominant performance by Rise Nation. It never really felt like they were out of a map, and it certainly never felt like Complexity had the upper hand in the series. They finish out strong. They take care of business, I guess you would say. If you're going to advance in this group, you at least have to beat one of those 4 teams that are a little more up in the air. Of course, along with them, we've got CLG, as well as Gale Force, teams that are a bit less proven, have had more roster changes. Because if you can't beat those teams, you're unlikely to take down Selfless, LG Evil, and be able to make it up the group.
Yeah, there at the end we got to see Spirit's play of the game there. I mean, largely he went uncontested on this far on Numbani and here on Hanamura. So great job coming out from Rise Nation. Congratulations on your first victory. Yeah, now our next matchup, I believe it is going to be LG Evil facing off against CLG.
All right, should be a good one. First look at both of these teams as we are into Group A, day number 1, guys, of Overwatch PIT here in North America. So there are 2 groups, 6 teams in each group. The top 8 will advance to the playoffs. With that said, I'm LD. He's Jamer, so you can check him out on Twitter at JetSetJamerson. We'll be right back after a short break here for our 3rd and final match of the day. Thanks all for watching. Stick around. More Overwatch after this.